How's it going, everyone? Nick here from Scientifically Stupid, and today I'll be showing you how to make a quality intro. Now, if you want to see how these intros are going to turn out, then go look at my recent intro templates. Those are what it's going to basically end up looking like. To start out, I'm going to hit A twice so that I can select everything, and I'm just going to delete everything. Now, before I do anything, I'm going to go over to the right and select my rendering options, which is 100% resolution, 30 frames per second, H.264, encoding section, MP3. These are fine, and the file I can select later. So what I'm going to start out doing is hitting 1 to enter front view, or you can just go down to view, and if you see me hitting my numpads, then you can just select the corresponding numpad from this section. Now, if I hit Shift A and add a camera, before you add a camera, hit Shift S and hit cursor to center. Make sure it's at the center. Now hit Shift A and add a camera. I'm going to go over here to the object data window and change its Y location to -5. Now I'm going to hit 0 to enter my camera view, numpad 0, and I'm going to hit Shift A, select empty, and then circle. Now I'm going to right click the border of my camera to make sure the camera is selected, then Shift select my empty circle. Now I'm going to hit Control P and parent the camera to the circle, or the other way around. Don't really know how it's said. But now I'm going to deselect all and just select this circle, and you can see if I hit R twice, I can rotate it around and change the view of the camera. And I can also scale it. I can scale it up and down to zoom out by hitting S. So now what I can do is hit Shift A and then select text, hit RX90, enter, and backspace this and type in what I want. Now what I'm going to do is go over to my text section, object data, and select my font, change it from regular. I'm going to open my font section. I have one, so I'm going to select that, and that's what I want for my font. Now what I'm going to do is go up to the extrude and change it to 0.13, change the depth to 0.001, and change the resolution to 32. Now what I'm going to do is go over here to set origin and change it and set it to geometry to origin. This should put your word generally right in the middle. I scaled that up, by the way, by pressing S. Now what I'm going to do is hit Shift A and select Mesh, UV Sphere, and then I'm going to hit S50 to scale that up. And I just did something wrong. So S50, enter. Now what I'm going to do is go to its texturing options and select new, material, and I'm going to scroll down to its, emit value under shading and change it to 15. This should give it like a bright glow, bright white glow for now. And I'm going to select transparency and select mask and change the alpha value to 0. Now what you want to do is go to the texturing option. What's the difference between this is the texture, this is the material, that's what I thought. Now click new and change it from imager movie to marble. If you scroll down, you're going to change the size to 2, and you're going to change it to sharp, and then change this to generated, the coordinates, and then sphere. Change the size of it to 2, and deselect color and select emit. Now the last thing you have to do is go into the object data window and select transparency, and then go up here to this little window and deselect the cursor so it can't be selected. I'm going to set up some texturing for this blender word so you can follow along. I'm going to go to the texturing option, the material, and hit new. Scroll down until I find mirror. I'm going to change the reflectivity to 0.15. I'm going to change it to a grayish color so it's like silver. Now I'm going to change the texture, new, now I'm going to select open for image or movie. Now go to blender textures and change whichever one you want. I have this like rough, rocky looking thing texture that I like to use. So if you scroll down, change the coordinates to generated and the projection to cube. Set the size to 2, deselect color, and select normal, and change the value to 0.01, I believe. If you hit Shift Z, you should see a slight texture and a reflective surface. Now, what I'm going to do is hit 0 to exit the camera, and I'm going to hit Shift D and then right click for the word. Now I'm going to hit W, E for extrude, and change it to the size I want the middle color. Now I'm going to go to the texturing, or the object data, and change the depth to 0.0013. Now I'm going to go to the material and change it. I'm going to keep it where it is. You can see it has the same settings as the other one, but I'm going to change the color to a lighter blue, a little bit brighter. So now I'm going to go over the texturing, and you can see it's, before you change the color, so keep it at like a gray, scroll up and hit new on the material. It will copy the settings and it won't change the other one. Now I'm going to set this to blue and go to the texture, and it should be the same. Cube. Okay, now if I hit Shift Z, you can see it shows the slightly textured object that I had. So now that the words are done, I'm going to set up the animation along with the music. So I'm going to grab this little corner up here and drag it down and select Video Sequence Editor. Now I'm going to hit Add Sound, and then I'm going to go to my MP3 files and select, you know what, the song I want to use is actually in my downloads. This is the same song that I've been using for my previous 2 intros. This is just for a slight example. So you want to hit N now after that's selected, and hit Draw Waveform. Now you can easily see the beat drops and wherever you want your music to be at. Now set your current frame to 60, and hit G on the music and grab it and drag it until you find the area of the song that you want. Now if I play the song, I'm actually going to change my N to 300. Hit play. Okay, now I'm going to hit N to bring up this window over here and select the volume to 0 at the first frame. Hit I to keyframe it. Go to 35. Set the volume to 1. Keyframe that. Now go 35 frames away from your end, which in my case is 265, and hit another keyframe for volume 1, and at the end set it to 0. Now if I play the animation, so you can see it fades out. Now I'm going to change this to the graph editor. Now what you will see at first is you will see a little bump that goes up and then back down. Basically, that is the volume of our music. Right click this little block over here, hit T and select cubic. Now go over to the end, hit T and select linear. On the right side, I'm going to select this and just select this little circle coming out of it, and I'm going to drag it down a little bit so that the volume ramps up right before the drop. Now if we listen to it, so now what I'm going to do is set shake for the camera before I do anything to make sure it looks good. So select the camera and go to Object Data, and open the Delta transform, right click the Y delta location, which is in the middle, and select Insert Single Keyframe. Now go to the Object Data, or no, the Camera Data, Object Data, Object. Okay, well anyway, go to this tab with the camera icon, and for the Shift X, hit Insert Keyframe, Shift Y, Insert Keyframe. Now go to your hold on. You have to, like, I believe it's in the graph editor. Oh, I have to change it. Okay, anyway, open the tab, go to the Shift X under camera, make sure it's open, click on the Shift X, scroll to the bottom, add modifier, noise. Now what you're going to do is set the first value to 18, select the second value to, I'll just do 4 for now, and restrict keyframe range. I'm going to set it from 60 to the end, which is 300. Now, what I'm going to do is scroll in on 60 really far. And see how that bumps up right away? I'm going to change this phase value up and down until it starts right at that line, which is 4.2 for me. Now I'm going to hit copy to keyboard up here and go to the Shift Y and paste it. Now I'm going to change this value to 20, and then I'm going to edit the phase value until it's back in the middle. Now go to the Y delta location and just hit paste, and you're done. You've got some camera shake, so let's take a look at what that looks like. So that's way too much camera shake for me, so I'm going to go to the Shift X and change the size down a little bit in the depth to 1. I'm going to go to Shift Y, again, size down, depth 1, and do the same thing with the Y delta. Now if we watch this, now that I have camera shake, I can close this. What I'm going to do is select this circle and drag and rotate it so that I'm in the back. I'm going to select this keyframe down here to lock rot scale, and now I'm going to hit I. I'm going to go to 51 and rotate it around here since we already know that the drop is at 60. I keyframe that, and the right at 60, I actually want it to size up and rotate a little bit. I'm going to keyframe that, and now it should have a little animation. That doesn't look very good. Actually scale that up a little bit more. Oh, and before I am done with this, go to the video sequence editor, and at each drop, hit M and select a mark. Make a mark so that you can easily see this later. I believe that's every mark that I need. So now if I hit play, a drop should happen every time the keyframe strip that shows us where we are hits the lines. So I'm liking that, so I'm going to close this back up. and then I'm going to go 9 frames before my next drop and just rotate this a little. Let's size that in, and at the next drop put it where you want it. So I'm going to rotate this, keyframe that, and then if we watch it, so now right here I'm going to go 9 keyframes before that, and I'm going to size it out and rotate it down a little bit, and then right at the drop I'm going to rotate it to the other side, keyframe that, and now if we watch it through, now I'm going to go 9 keyframes before this drop, and I'm going to scale that up, rotate it up a little bit, hit I, go to the next drop. I'm actually going to put it out here, and I'm going to rotate it here a little bit, size it up. Now right here I'm going to drag it to the complete side, scale it in, and right here I'm going to scale it up, rotate it a little bit. Here I'm going to rotate it to the back, and keyframe all these. Go a little bit before this. Keyframe it, and just keep doing this until you have the animation you want. So I still have a little bit left, but I'm just going to check what that looks like right now. I'm liking that. So what I'm going to do now is go a little bit before this next drop, just size that up, I keyframe it. I'm going to set this to, I'm going to scale this up. Scale that up a lot more. Over to here, scale that down a little bit, rotate it up, keyframe it, and at the next drop I'm going to have it rotate around and also go to here. I'm probably going to run into difficulties that I'll change anyway. So now if I watch it, so I'm actually liking that a lot. So now that I have the animation generally done, I just have to add one more thing, and then it'll be time for the second part that will wrap up the first part of this. And the second part will be based upon the node setup, which is a big node to set up, but it's really not that hard to understand. So what you're going to want to do first is hit 0, well, you can say in the camera view, but drag it to a keyframe that's easy to see the word at. I'm going to do 30, hit Shift A and add an empty plain axes. Now select both words and then select the plain axes and hit Control P object. Now if we select the plain axes and rotate it, you can see it rotates the word too. So at the very beginning, I'm going to rotate it on the x-axis up a little bit, and then before 60, I'm going to rotate on the x-axis down, and then right at 60, I'm going to have it rotate on the x-axis 180 degrees facing slightly downwards, and then for the rest of it, I'm just going to rotate it up and down. Oops, did not rotate that. I'm gonna have it by here, rotate on the x-axis 180, and end up here, and by the end I'm just gonna have it rotated down just the slightest bit. Now if we watch it, it should look pretty good. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm actually going to set that keyframe, and at the second drop, I'm gonna have it rotated on the X 180 degrees, keyframe that. Keep it there, and by the next one, rotate on the x-axis 180 degrees. So now if I watch that through, I actually think that looks really good. And now in the second part of this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you the node setup. So if you want to see the rest of this, visit that video. So see you in the next video.